Hi, it's Dorianne Mamo. Welcome to this podcast part of the Mediterrane Film Festival. I'm accompanied by Sarah Fox, Book Scout. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure.
Your first time in Malta?
Yes.
And originally you are from?
Ireland.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, you managed? You've been around already, or this is actually your first day?
Well, this is my first real day. I landed in the middle of the night, Monday night. So yesterday is a kind of a blur, but it was getting my bearings in this St. Julian's part of the city. But today's my first day doing a panel and exploring what's going on a bit. So yeah.
We are tiny indeed, but there's a lot going on here.
Yeah, so it seems, yeah.
You have any plans where to go, perhaps? Where to visit?
Not really. I mean, I'm excited to do the proper studio tour, and I think I'm going to also do a boat tour to see the locations around the caves and the coves and things. So yeah, I'm very excited to learn more about the island because I don't really know very much at all.
Book Scout, if you can perhaps tell me more.
So I work with numerous different film producers, also TV. They hired me as a sort of consultant to find books to adapt. So there's a whole big market out there when it comes to buying the rights to literary material. It could be an article in a newspaper, or usually it's a novel, fiction. So I scout the publishing market, mainly in the UK, the English language market. And I'm the ear to the publishing industry for the film producers. I try to filter through new books from emerging authors, and we sort of try to contextualize, I guess, the buzz or the importance of new voices and new fiction coming up, and feed that back to the client and try to filter through the term, like depending on if it's what kind of genre it is, or what kind of story, or where it's set, and depending on what they're looking for, we try to advise them if it's right for them, if we think it's viable in terms of the market, and then we try to get the material as early as possible. So we're also sort of corporate spying a little bit, because we're trying to get access to material before they're supposed to have it, way before it's published.
It's like spice.
It's a little bit like that. So you're constantly trying to find out what the new thing is, where it's coming from, and how to get it, and try to mediate between the agent eventually and the producers who want to actually buy the rights to it. So yeah, it's a lot of tactful relationship management as well, or can be.
Easier said than done.
Yes, we have to be very tactful, and we have to have a big network really within the publishing industry, because we have to know who's who to understand the context. Let's say there's a new author, a new agent, or an agent has submitted a new novel, like a debut novel from this emerging author to a publisher, and depending on who buys it or for how much in the publishing industry, we can understand if it's going to be a big deal,
See.
and that will determine everything from if it's going to be competitive between producers trying to buy the rights, and why.
You would know. You would know.
Well, we sort of absorb the context depending on, let's say, if it's an important editor who, let's say, publishes Sally Rooney, and then they've just acquired another or a debut literary author, and they spent 100,000 or whatever on this new novel. We can understand that's going to be a big deal. That will inform us as to like the budget for the marketing on that book, if it's going to be a bestseller. We try to understand the context, and that will help the producer figure out if they want it bad enough, can they afford it, who are they competing against, all those different factors. So yeah, we try to learn as much as we can so that they can make the decision.
Plenty of challenges, but the satisfactions are huge as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. You're constantly reading new material all the time. So it's, you're trying to align, let's say, the trends within publishing with the trends and what's viable, or what's the zeitgeist in the film industry too. So you're trying to match up the two. And you're trying to do matchmaking too with directors and screenwriters. So, everybody I work with has their own relationships with talent. And so you're constantly trying to matchmake that. So it's quite, creative, and you have to sort of move fast, because you never know when the next big book is going to come from. So it changes a lot every day. You have to be quite nimble.
What brings you to this film festival then?
The film festival, actually, well, I'm friends with some people who were invited, and then I was invited. But also, I am very curious about location filming, and I'm potentially moving into development producing myself. And I was curious at a personal, professional sort of um, uh, manner as well. But yeah, I don't often get the opportunity to network to film festivals because I'm so much in the early part of the process, just when this before the script is even developed. And so it's interesting to see the sort of the different dimensions. And when a film is made and then when it's exhibited and yeah, all the moving parts and all the people involved. So yeah, I'm trying to get my feet wet as well.
Where would you like to go career-wise? You mentioned something already to me.
Well, yeah, in terms of like my part, I guess, is I don't, I'm finding the source material for a film script, let's say, and then the development team and the production team realize it. Eventually, it can take years. So I guess for me, it would be interesting to have more of a creative process or creative role involved in that. But yeah, like I'm sort of just, I guess, exploring those options. But, I run a busy company and it's always like changing and moving. And so that's quite consuming. So yeah.
And perhaps a project, a task which really left a mark on you, an impact.
A project, well, I guess, I work with the Irish producers Element Pictures. And I guess when I started working with them, the first main project they acquired with me was, or I guess with my help as a scout that was working with them, was Sally Woody's book Normal People, which thankfully, because that was an exceptional case in a way. She became a very big author. That book was a bestseller, and they managed to get financing quite quickly, and it was greenlit and made very quickly. And then it came out in the world during the first lockdown and COVID, and it just sort of caught fire and became a big project for the actor Paul Mescal, who then came on to shoot Gladiator here. So being involved in that was interesting to see. Sally Woody's now a very established literary figure, and I guess it was interesting to see that trajectory from the beginning, seeing that talent fully formed at such a young age, and then seeing the adaptation process and how they put that together with the screenwriters and with the director. And yeah, that was sort of eye-opening in how that came to be like so quickly.
For those who would love to do what you do, your advice?
I mean,
It's a lot.
I think anybody who gets involved in the industry at any stage or any angle is usually very passionate, and I think is very driven by just wanting to be involved in making something from nothing. So I think you have to just keep that with you, I guess, and being engaged and being curious and working hard, and yeah, it's sort of the basic things I think sometimes. But yeah, just being on it. But no, I think you have to obviously be quite dynamic in this industry. It's a tough time, so you have to be nimble and dynamic and just reliable. But yeah, keep being curious, I guess.
Thank you so much for your time, Sarah. Thank you.
Pleasure. Lovely to meet you.